So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? So if you've all followed me on my YouTube channel and on Instagram, you will notice that I talk about wines that are off the beaten path for most of the consumers. And I wanted to share an area that I think is very, very near and dear to my heart. I hope it will be for you as well. This is called Madiran. And Madiran is from a very interesting area in France. We're going to point it right out on the map here. We talked about Jurassol here, so if you just go up a little bit here, you've got the area of Madiran. And if you notice, you've got the Atlantic Ocean coming here, which is very important. You've got the Pyrenees Mountains here. So this is cool mountain climate here, affected by Atlantic Ocean breezes. And this makes an area which is considered to be one of the best areas for red wine production in all of what's called Southwest or Sud-Ouest. They call it Sud-Ouest in French, but we say Southwest France. Southwest meaning here's Bordeaux, and you just a little bit south here. And this is a very, very interesting area that a lot of people do not pay attention to. So I'm going to talk about the past, the present, and the future of what David's been involved in. I was an importer, in Florida, well over 25 years ago, and I brought in these wines, which is called Chateau Montus. It's from Alain Brumont, which I think is the top guy to make Madiran. He also has a property called Chateau Montus. We're talking old vine Tannat. And the grape Tannat is the most important grape that's here. If you followed my videos before, you'll see that I did another video on Uruguay, and Uruguay is producing a lot of Tannat there from the grape. But this is where it started. This is where the grape actually started. And Alain Brumont doesn't even put on the front of the label Madiran. If you've ever noticed, he calls it Chateau Montus, which he thinks, of course, it's got nothing to do with Madiran. It's got to do with making wines that can rival Bordeaux. And we all agree with him, because when you take Tannat and he blends in a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon, he's actually creating wines that can rival a lot of the wines in the Medoc area, because Tannat's got the power and the structure, and it's an interesting grape. There's been studies done. Actually, one of the most famous studies was Louis Pasteur did a lot of scientific studies on different grapes. He found Tannat to be the most interesting grape because it's a very hard skin. It gives a lot of tannin to the wine. You can actually taste the tannins in this wine. And those tannins coming from the soil composition that's involved in this area actually is beautiful for health, development of your skin. And it's also very good for the heart and digestive. So if you're eating, food and you're having a bottle of a wine from this area, it's probably one of the best wines to have wine and food and cheese. Some of the studies that go back and find out why people in France were living to be such a long age. Well, in this area, especially, they were actually drinking wines, that would actually help aid in their digestive. They would also aid in their metabolism. So we look at Tannat and we think it's got some secret kind of additives to it because of the soil composition in the grape. But again, it's a very thick-skinned kind of a grape. When we smell it, it's got really deep plum, very dark fruits that you smell here. I get a lot of that, obviously cedar tone, because he ages the wine in barrique, but you don't smell any oak here. It's a beautiful nuance, but it's like rocks and minerals. So when I smell this wine, I can smell a lot of terroir, which is beautiful for me because I like secondary flavors. I like flavors that when you smell the fruit, but you can also smell the mineral content in the wine. Those are called the secondary flavors. They become very nuanced, and you get also that dark forest, almost like you're very Burgundian in style. You're smelling almost like that forest scent where you get all those wood, like deep forest. But when you taste the wine, oh, I get the soil composition here. I get that tension. That wine's got that nerve, It's got that nerviness to it That is that mineral content that gets into the fruit and gives it that perfect seamless balance. I don't see a lot of tannins in this wine. I can see this wine ready to drink. This is 2017. This wine flies under the radar. It's actually, under $35 a bottle for one of the finest wines in all of France. And I think Alain Brumont is onto something. I think that when you taste Madiran and you understand, Bordeaux here, and you taste a lot of Bordeaux's, people should pay attention to these wines. Nobody really knows these wines. I actually know these wines because I love and adore these kind of wines. And I think a lot of you out there would too if you gave this wine a chance. All we want really to do here at the Grape Explorer is to give wines a chance that people really don't maybe know the grape, they don't know Tannat, they don't know Madiran, they don't know Southwest France. This is one of the oldest regions in all of France. We're going to give one more taste of this wine. That's Montus. I tasted Montus 25 years ago. That's Montus today. Again, we talk about the past, the present, and the future. Montus is up to snub. Alain Brumont, cheers to you. You're making great wines. The Grape Explorer, always looking for great wines to share with you today.